So we made it to Prague.
So, it's the balcony. Oh, guys, it's raining. Action. Okay, so we started off this year of travel and adventure in Prague.
So July 4th, we got on a one-way ticket to Europe. Prague was our first destination, and I really don't think we could have picked, I mean, maybe not better, but we picked a great place to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah. We loved the food.
Yes, let's start talking about the food. So Prague is an international city, and so one of the great things was there was cuisine from everywhere. So we got we started with Vietnamese food.
Yeah, because it's just like right below our Airbnb.
Yeah.
Got some pho.
Which was great.
Yeah.
We ended up with some Indian food, a ton of Italian food.
Yeah.
We found like 2 great pizzerias that were just great. And then there's of course the traditional Czech food. So there's like goulash, sausages, beer's a big part of their culture.
Yeah.
So
Pilsner.
Pilsners came from that area.
And they're like $2 or
Yes.
less than €2, I think, basically everywhere you go.
Super cheap.
Zdravě.
Lots of just kind of like fun, snacky food. So we also liked these fancy fries. They were like less than $3, if I remember correctly,
Something
for
like
a
that.
huge thing. So you can go out to the Voltova River, sit outside, have a little snack. It's pretty great.
This is a salty caramel chimney cone, which looks amazing. We got ice cream. This is they roast this bread and then cover it in cinnamon sugar. It's pretty fantastic. I've already had one of them. We were gonna go plain, but then we came by this place and they had these amazing ones. So
Okay, Prague had, in my opinion, an overwhelming amount of museums.
They really like museums and plaques.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So we chose to go to 3 museums. So one was the Prague Castle. That's a museum.
I can call it a museum.
So the Prague Castle was really beautiful. And I think worth going to.
Yeah, you should definitely go.
There's like the Golden Lane, which I liked a lot of the medieval stuff they had with like the helmets and everything. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
The fortress stuff. Lots of cute shops. I actually wish we had bought stuff. I think it was so early in our trip. We were like, oh, we'll see more and more. So we really like that. Beautiful cathedral. It's definitely, I think, one of the major tourist attractions. So there are a lot of tourists there. Okay. Second museum was the Museum of Communism. So this museum didn't have a lot of engaging things.
It didn't have artifacts.
Okay.
It had
some artifacts.
So the way I would describe the Museum of Communism is if you went inside of a magazine.
Or an essay.
Like a textbook. Basically, there's a lot of words, a lot of really cool pictures. It's super well done.
It was the attack of the plaques.
But it was a lot of reading. We left there oh my, I read for 2 hours straight.
Maybe 3 hours. But I also feel like I learned a lot.
So much.
And had a better perspective.
In the third museum
Was
that we
the
went to.
Jewish Museum.
The Jewish Museum is really actually a collection of synagogues from Prague, where several of them are different periods of Jewish history. So it focuses not only on the Jewish history during the Holocaust, but also going back and how Jews were treated under the Habsburgs and previous kind of throughout the centuries. Several of them were set up as museums. A couple, or at least one, was kind of more of a memorial. The names of the people who had died under the Nazis, and so that was a really, I think, a special place. Like I said, a heavy place.
So we're here at the Linen Wall, and there's all these touching tributes to those that are affected in Ukraine. It's really touching.
So one of my favorite parts of Prague was just all of the green space. So there's a ton of parks throughout the city. And we had a couple of favorites. So one was Letna Park. So Letna Park is across the river from the Old Town on the same side as Prague Castle. And there's a lot of ways to get to Letna Park. You could walk, it's not that far. But we chose to take some of the e-bikes that were all around the city. And that was a ton of fun. So we're just like, get you there. It's uphill, so you're getting to use the e-bike to make it a lot easier. You can cover a lot more ground a lot more quickly. So it was just a lot of fun to see a lot of the city, and we ended up in Letna Park. And there's a lot there. So one of the big things there was they actually, during the communist era, built one of the largest statues in Europe, or maybe the largest at the time, of Stalin on this hill overlooking Prague. And it didn't really last that long because then some of Stalin's, some of the atrocities he had committed came to light, and they actually ended up tearing down the statue. And now in its place, there's this metronome statue. But there is still like a little beer garden bar under where the statue was called Stalin. The other nice thing is on down from the Stalin statue in the park, there's this huge beer garden, which is tons of picnic tables. And so you can get a drink there, just kind of overlook the whole city. Was a ton of local people. Didn't really feel like very many tourists at all. So that was a whole lot of fun. Another park we really enjoyed, and I'm going to butcher this.
All the parks.
Was Streletsky Ostrov, I think. Translates to shooting island. And it's this island. Yeah, there was no one shooting there. But it's this island in the middle of the river. And as far as we know, on every summer night, there was a free concert there. Okay. And so we went there. There was somebody playing like folk music on an accordion.
We wish we knew what he was saying.
We had no idea. Nick thought it was fun to like make up words. The last one was Vyšehrad Castle. And Vyšehrad Castle, to me, was really amazing because so there's Prague Castle where you pay to get in. It's really cool, but it's mainly a tourist attraction. But then there's Vyšehrad Castle, which is actually older, from what I understand. And it's really just a park. Like, there's just people there walking around with their kids, having a picnic, playing cards. And so we really enjoyed hanging out there. One of the coolest things there, actually, is that they built tennis courts in the old moat of the castle. And so some of the fences around the tennis court are actually the walls of the castle, which I just thought was super cool.
So we're going up the Eiffel Tower of Prague.
About the shaking tower that we're currently on, Chelsea.
It's not the best. I'm just imagining that we'll be on top though if it all crumbles, and hopefully I won't get crushed.
Was it worth the heights? But yeah.
In terms of also like green space, one way we also got to see other parts of the city is we took a boat ride.
When we talk about Prague, you have to talk about the Astronomical Clock. So the clock was built in 1410. It's the oldest clock still in operation. Definitely worth seeing. It's a lot more impressive when you think about that they built it in 1410. So you can't come at it necessarily with like modern expectations, but it's really cool.